Hey guys, yesterday we left Roz running from the Ricos. Pretty intense stuff. Remember that cool picture? Kind of like that one. I was going through all of my papers from our classroom and I found a whole bunch of papers where you guys would just draw the Ricos. And so I have all your artwork from when we used to be in class and I love it. You guys are some pretty good robot drawers. What do you say? Find out what happens to Roz and the Ricos and Bright Bill. Oh. Chapter 76, The Morning. A steady stream of foot traffic was flowing past the park that morning. Several pairs of eyes noticed a Rosum robot running from the trees. They watched as she looked around and then started marching alongside the rest of the crowd. Roz had lost the Ricos back in the woods, but she knew they wouldn't stop searching for her. She needed to blend in with the normal robots on the street. So when she came upon a work crew marching toward a construction site, she tried to join them at the end of the line. But the crew immediately halted to a stop and turned and faced her. Our robot stepped backward, away from the crew, and bumped into a young woman. "I am sorry," said Roz. She gently grasped the woman's shoulder. "Get your hands off me! Whose robot is this? There's something wrong with her." Everyone stopped and stared. Humans pointed. Automobiles slowed. There were whispers about a defective robot on the loose. And then the white triangular airship appeared. It floated out from between tall buildings and headed for our robot. Roz lurched forward and backward and again, trying to think of a plan, until a voice suddenly squawked behind her. "Follow us, Ma!" Bright Bill and Strutter swooped past, and the robot went racing after them. She wove through the crowd, sprinted down the streets, leapt across intersections. Horns blared and humans screamed and robots shuffled out of the way. The birds made one last turn and fluttered into a narrow side street. A group of tomcats were there, lurking in the shadows. They crouched and licked their lips and dreamed of feasting on the goose and the pigeon. Then the robot came stomping up, and the cats hissed and scattered in every direction. Strutter pointed to a heavy circular panel on the pavement and said, "Lift that up." Roz lifted the panel. Beneath it was a ladder that descended deep into the dark hole. "Climb down there," said Struttle. "A friend of mine is expecting you." The robot looked from the pigeon to the goose. "Do what he says, Ma," cried Bright Bill. "There's no time to waste." "But how will I find you again?" "Just go!" Chapter 77, The Underground. Our robot was standing in a long, shadowy tunnel. Murky water trickled along the floor. The sour smells filled the air. Roz was below ground in the city sewers. Ugh, what's in a sewer, you guys? Ask your parents if you don't know. There's a squeak, and the robot's headlights flashed onto a crack in the wall. A rat's pointy face poked out. "You must be Roz," said the rat, wiggling his nose. "I heard you were in trouble." "That is correct," said the robot. "I need to get as far from here as possible." "I know where to take you," said the rat, and he started scampering down a tunnel. The rat knew the sewers better than anyone, but his short legs couldn't carry him very fast. So Roz carried him. She scooped him up, plopped him on her shoulder, and said, "Tell me where to run." With the rat squeaking his directions in her ear, Roz stomped deeper into the underground. She splashed down side tunnels, crawled through narrow passages, carefully crossed subway tracks. Occasionally, they came upon cavernous chambers. Most of the chambers were empty, but some of them contained jumbles of pipes. Ooh, jumbles of pipes. I wonder if this is what the illustrator was depicting when they made the cover, if this is her in the underground. The rat would scurry across a damp, dirty floor while the robot climbed the pipes as if they were trees. Mechanical sounds echoed from some of the tunnels. Robot crews were hard at work. They spent their lives laboring below the city. Many would never even see the light of day. Roz was curious, of course, but she dared not spy on them. Those workers had no idea that a fellow robot was sneaking through their underground home. After traveling through miles of tunnels, the rat and the robot came to a dead end. A ladder was bolted to the wall and disappeared into a hole in the ceiling. "I don't know what you'll find up there," squeaked the rat, "but good luck." "It cannot be any worse than where I was," said Roz, placing him on the ground. "Thank you for your help." The robot gave the rat a quick scratch behind the ears, and then she climbed up to the streets. Okay, so for today's activity, we have 2 questions. Number 1, if you were Roz, would you climb down into a sewer pipe in underneath a city? And would you continue running from the Ricos? Or would you take the chance and talk to the Ricos and explain everything to them? So which risk would you take? Would you go down into the sewage pipes and get dirty and stinky and try to keep running from the Ricos? Or would you finally stop and turn yourself into the police and try to maybe think that they'll understand your story? And then the other question is, what I found interesting about this is there's a rat helping Roz, but how did that rat become a part of this? So it's pretty clear that maybe Strutter had some connection with this rat. So are they friends? Do they owe each other favors? What's the story between them? How do they know each other? So how does Strutter the pigeon convince the rat to help Roz escape? So I want a couple sentences on your scenario of maybe how they became friends or how they met, or maybe they're rival enemies and the rat owes Strutter a big favor. I don't know. Get creative, and I want to hear your stories.